Hello guys, this is Martin and welcome back to another quick video. So I want to show you the streamable HTTP setup for our MCP inspector, right? Like so in the previous lab, I have shown you how to do this basically by running the MCP command and the Python script, for example, locally. And now we actually start to expose this like over HTTP, over the HTTP protocol. And I want to show you real quick what changes are required. So the first change, so first of all, I always recommend testing with that you expose the HTTP and the port, right? Like via an API endpoint. The reason for that is because I am a burp guy and I want to see what's happening in the background, right? So to do that, basically, so this is our skeleton script from the MCP server, super easy, but the only change you need to do here is like you specify the transport. Like before that, it was like blank, but now you need to put in the transport equals and then streamable HTTP. That's really the only change you need to make. What I also recommend, obviously, is you want to control the port, right? Like, so for example, you can do this like this. It's like, I think I did 9999 or something. And you can set this as an environment variable as well if you want. That's it basically, and then you just fire up that server, and now it's basically exposing it on port 9999. And the problem you guys probably have seen before is that you have an awful time to basically get burp working on 127001. So there's numerous ways to get around this. Like one option is that you basically change the configuration that you effectively expose it on 0000, because then you can run it or can access it on your local IP address if you want. The other quick fix for this is just changing your etc hosts file and then put something like this in there, right? Like temporarily, 127001 is then mapped to localhost.burp. This is what I've done in my example. Now let's launch our MCP inspector, right? And then I'm going to show you how this basically works. So it's giving you the IP address and the URL of where the graphical user interface will reside on. So let me just put this in here. And then you can see this is already in there basically, but now you choose streamable HTTP. But I want to show you this real quick. Like I can do this with localhost.burp on port 999, and then 9999, and then you need to put MCP basically. So you need to put the path MCP, then you hit connect, and now you're basically connected. But this time around, you're not running the script locally, but you basically have exposed that MCP server via HTTP. And this is a much more common use case, which we will see in follow-up videos for sure. But then basically you can start operating around, like you can go to your prompts, and you can list the prompts, and then you always see in the history like what you have done. You can go to the tools like we've done before. So it's the same MCP server, right? It's only the exposure method has changed. You can ping the server, right? Like you can do sampling, you can set the root directory, all kinds of stuff. But let's come back here and let's go to this add functionality. And now we say again 3 plus 4, for example, and then that's 7, right? So the cool thing here now is, and I probably have completely botched this. It's basically, I think I need to redo this. Give me 1 second. So I still have the 127001 in here. So I basically want to change this to localhost.burp in order to actually, this did not work. Okay. Localhost.burp like this. And Google is giving me an error here. I don't know why. Hang on a minute. Localhost.burp. And there we go. So now we are basically, and then obviously we have to reconnect and things like this. And now we can redo the whole thing again. And then now all this stuff we are doing here is going through Burp actually. So it's actually being captured, right? So if I now do this again, and run the tool and things like this. So obviously you have your history down here, but now we also see this, yeah, this has all gone through Burp now. And then you actually see like what's happening here in the background. Like, for example, it's getting a config file, and then this is basically like the path variables and things like this. So this is quite interesting to see. An SVG, the health status and things like this. But this is highly important, like for pen tester, that you basically see what's going on, like when you utilize the inspector, and then you have everything proxied through Burp effectively. And we haven't done a lot of stuff yet, but this is just for you to show like how this is playing out, how this is working, and how you get around this limitation, like with the 127001, basically. That's all I wanted to show you today. So this is just another method to operate with this tool, and I hope you like it, and I will see you in the next video.